Good morning. Well, I've been set a real challenge for this week, and that is to try and improve this duck house. So it's not actually in as bad a condition as you might think. It looks terrible because it is green where it's got the algae on it. So if I can give it a clean up, it will look better. It is also missing some small parts like the fascia boards around the edge there at the top. They've rotted and fallen off, so I can easily replace those. But today I'm mainly looking at structure. So I will be looking at the bridge on here at the front at some point, because that does need replacing. But at the moment I'm going to focus all my attention on the back end here. So I've not got a lot of access. I'll try and do my best with the camera. So if we go in through these doors here, you'll see that we've got the roof. The roof doesn't have a lot of overhang, so the water's been running down these walls. So they have rotted a lot of this board. But as you can see, this isn't just a duck house. So the duck house part actually finishes there. And we've got this big pump in here which we use for filling up the middle lake if we need it in the summer. So most of this structure at the very end is rotten, and that has caused half the problem, because as you can see, the posts that actually support the back end of the duck house, well, I don't actually know if they are secured anymore or not, but the whole back end of the duck house has slipped down. Now, I made the mistake, I put those temporary supports on there, but I screwed them up the top here into the wall. So that means, if we go back down, because I've done the one on the other side here, that the floor has actually separated from the wall on that side, and it's kind of done the same on this side. So my plan is I've drilled a test hole in the corner there, try and get a post down through that hole and hammer it in so it's nice and neat, remove the posts from the outside and try and jack this end of the house up so it's level again. Then once this end is level and secure, I can trim those boards off and put a nice trim across there so it looks tidy, and then basically just rebuild the back doors of the duck house. So we're going to start with the biggest challenge, which is trying to get the posts in there. So I've drilled one hole there, let's drill a hole on the other side. Right, well it's a bit of a dodgy setup, but I hope it works. So I've put an extra strong beam at the top there. So that is secured to this post, which is onto the jack. That jack is on a beam that goes between the two new posts that I've put in. Those two new posts aren't currently attached to the house. So in theory, if I jack that jack up, it will put pressure onto this, which will put pressure onto that, and lift the entire end here. So I've drawn a line at that end and at that end so I can monitor the progress. I've put some pressure into the jack now, so that should be holding the weight here. So now for the scary part, I've got to remove the existing supports from there and from there, and then hope that I can jack the whole house up until I can actually secure the new posts to the beams underneath. Well, that seems to have worked. I can't quite tell from here whether it's level or not. The bottom of the planks there look like they're uneven, but looking at the beam there, that looks level now. So everything's all off all over the place here. So, but it is a duck house at the end of the day, so level isn't too much of an issue. But you can see inside here from the line there, that's gone up 9 centimetres there, and same on the other side. I would like to have gone further, but unfortunately that beam overhangs there, and I can't be bothered to undo all this and reset it just to move over that little bit. So yeah, I'm now going to secure that beam to that post, that beam to that post, and then I can remove all of this and it'll be back on its own legs again. Okay, so that is it supported correctly again. However, there's still a bit of movement in here. You can sort of wobble it from side to side. So I do want to put another set of legs in at this end. Problem is, that's what I've got to secure it to at the moment. So I need to do something about that. Yeah. Right, so that has now got a beam for me to actually rest on, so that's a little bit better for me because things are actually solid. But to be honest, I'm not going to bother recording anymore until I'm done here because you're not going to be able to get a good angle, and to be honest, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. Oh jeez, and I keep falling into the water because yeah, I have got that much space to rest on, or I have got water. But yeah, so the end of this beam has gone rotten, but the beam it screwed into was good, so I can try and get those screws off there, get this post out of the way. I can then secure a beam across underneath here to the other side, which again is good. There's also a beam in the middle here, and it's quite nice. If you look underneath, you can see the beam the entire length, and it is in good condition. Problem is I can't find the screw heads in there, so I'm going to have to get creative trying to get that out. So I think I'm going to have to carefully cut up with the saw and try and get either side of the screws. But yeah, so it's going to be a lot of faffing and a lot of pain, so I'll get back to you when it's done. So I feel like I've been working for ages but got nothing to show for it. But we're getting somewhere. So I have this solid piece of wood that I can kneel on when I want to lean in through the door. I've put a solid beam underneath there to replace the one that was rotten. That is secured to the 3 beams that run the length underneath the house here. So that is all nice and stable. I've put another post in the 2 corners there, and they're secured through to the beams as well. So this end shouldn't sink again. I am wondering if some of the sinking was to do with the pump that's in here, because of it just vibrating, and that might have caused it to go down. So I am looking to see if I can get some rubber to go underneath it, try and take some of the vibration out. But yeah, so I think I've done as much as I can on this section for today. Now, I would love to say I'm going to jump onto the side here and start putting the trim across here, which was my plan. Unfortunately, I didn't get onto this until late in the day, so it's now 3 o'clock, and I don't think I'm going to get that done. So I'm going to turn my attention to the roof here and just try and give it a bit of a clean. So yeah, let's get you on the stand. Okay, well that's looking a bit better. I've gone all around cleaning all sides, cleaned the roof. I've even been inside and cleaned the feathers and the cobwebs out from inside it as well. So that's a lot cleaner now. As you can see, it's raining, which isn't fun. So I'm going to leave this here and I will pick it up again tomorrow, where I'm going to try and put the boards on at the bottom. Okay, it's the next day. I got inspired at the end of the day yesterday and put a little drip edge on the back of the shed here. So that should now get the water that comes off of the roof down past the doors, so that should stop the back rotting. So I'm thinking before I get in the water and get wet to do the bottom trim, I'm going to get up on the roof and just do the top trim around the edge here. So yeah, let's get started with that. Okay, well that's roof trim on, that's all looking nice and neat and tidy again. So now to turn my attention to the bottom down here. Now this is going to be interesting because there's a large boulder just underneath the door there that I've got to try and not fall over. I'm going to be using mains powered circular saw, but it is plugged into an RCD, so it should trip if it gets anywhere near the water. But yeah, let's give this a go. Right, well that's that piece of trim on and it looks so much better for it. Now I'm going to have to do the same on the other side. I won't record it because I really haven't got any access for the camera, but just know I've done that. But yeah, so once I've done the other side, I'm going to have a quick break and then I'll get on with the front of the duck house. Alright, see you in a bit. Okay, well that's the trim done on both sides now. Unfortunately the weather has taken a turn at the moment and it is really rather wet. So I'm going to leave this here and I'm going to pick it up again next week. So right, I'll see you in a bit. Well, it's good to see this extra drip edge is working like it's supposed to. Okay, so it's another late start because I was off in the shop this morning, so I won't be doing the bridge today. I'm going to look at the back doors. So yesterday it was chucking it down, so I spent a bit of time in the shed and built a couple of new doors for the back here. Because although I could patch repair these, there's so much wrong, I'm just going to rip them off and start again. So yeah, let's get on. So this is why I keep putting off the other end, because this end really isn't going to plan, and obviously this isn't so important. As long as it's kept dry, it's not a problem, but the other end, the ducks need to get back into the house, so it needs to be sorted. But you've got the sheets on the front that I've taken off. Underneath it you've got this plywood. Here it's not so bad, so I could probably just leave that and put a new board over the top. Along the top here, it's okay. There's a few patches that are dodgy, so they can stay in place. But once you get down to this end, it is really rotted out. I can't pull it up in one piece, it's just breaking up because of where it's so wet. I can't get up to the very top of the plywood because that goes behind that piece of wood there, which is up underneath this ridge. So I haven't really got access to any of it. I've got screws that won't undo, so I haven't got a flat surface to work on. So this really isn't going well. So I'm going to carry on hacking away, but I'm going to turn the camera off for a bit and see what we can do. Okay, well I haven't done much to this. I've put a board on here. That was one of the old doors that I cut down to get onto there. Obviously fascia board was removed from it, so that now levels that out with everything else. I've cut that flush up there. This section here I'm going to have to leave in. Now it is solid, obviously it's water damage from the past, but since I put this extra lip on here, that's not getting any worse, so that should be good. So yeah, just a case of putting the new doors on now. Okay, well that's the door sorted. I put an extra bolt on the bottom of that one, so that's held shut properly now. And then these ones here, obviously I've replaced them all, so there's no rotting wood on them, they're not bowed anymore, and when you want to open them, it's literally one bolt and you can open it. You don't have to press your knee against it and fight it every time. And with that lip on the roof there, these ones shouldn't go rotten. So yeah, that's good. So it's just the other end to do now. Now, got to build up my confidence before I do that, because I can see it being a problem. So I'm going to wait for an entirely dry day, because nothing worse than working in the rain. So yeah, I shall see you when I get on with that. Well, it's several months later, and as you can see, I still haven't replaced the ramp. So yeah, that's for two main reasons. First reason is access. If I'm going in there in waders, I don't know how deep the mud is. I really could get stuck and it could be a problem. So I don't really want to go in waders. I have got an inflatable boat here that I can use, which I can get in through the gate. Problem is, it's got such big sides to it, you're leaning right over when you're working. It is a right pain to try and use. So I'm not quite sure how to get to it. The second reason is that if I was to take that ramp off to repair it, I'm concerned I wouldn't be able to get it back on before the end of the day, in which case ducks can't get into the house, which means ducks aren't safe. So yeah, while I think about what I can do, I've decided I'm just going to let this video out, because I think it's quite interesting seeing the repairs I have done. And yeah, hopefully I will get around to fixing this one day. It'll be even better if we can get the fence fixed on the other duck pond and we can just move the ducks across. Then I have all the time in the world to repair this, which will be even better. But yeah, while we think about what we're doing, I'm going to leave it at this. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and do subscribe, and I shall see you later.